Meeting order. This is our work session for Monday, June the 10th, 24 at 3:30. I'm gonna do a roll call first. Let's see. Mr. Burris.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Here.
Mr. Hendrick.
Here.
Chairman's here. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna ask Mr. Burris if he would lead us in prayer before we get started.
Our heads. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, O God, for this day that you've made. Lord, we will rejoice and be glad in it. We thank you, O God, for how you blessed us in so many wonderful ways. And we pray, Father, as we deliberate the business of this county, O God, that you would give us the right thing to say, give us the right knowledge, and make the right decision that will affect our citizens. We ask, O God, that you would just continue to be with us, O God, continue to bless this great nation. And Father, we pray, God, that you would just continue to be in control, O God. And Father, we just ask, oh God, you would just continue to bless each and every one that's represented here, all the families. And we thank you for your son, Jesus, dying for our sins. And we ask, oh God, you would just continue to bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please seated. We have any guest speakers?
No, sir, we didn't have anybody sign up,
Didn't have
unless somebody
anybody
wanted
sign up.
to
Okay.
address the commission.
Agenda items. Let's, on a proposal purchase for the airport metal storage building. Hey, now, Frank is not here, is he?
That's correct.
Let's, we got some other things that we wanted to talk with Frank on about the mowing and different things, and we're not sure that this building here is gonna be big enough. So if we could, we're probably gonna wanna table this until to another meeting, we do that.
If that's the desire of the commission.
Okay.
So what's the story on the mowing?
We wanted to let Frank take over the mowing of the airport and the industrial park out there,
Oh, man.
and let him hire some people like it used to be years ago. And put him over to, let him be over to taking care of that, so the county can do it, something else. They got plenty to do.
We do.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, so currently, right now, I know Frank, they mow the airport part of that, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, which is him and his workforce can do that, just the airport.
Right.
So what you're talking about is expanding it to where they would more.
All of that airport property. And keep up the roads in the industrial park.
Okay, so who's doing the roads in the industrial park now?
Right now, the prison detail does.
The prison's been
Yeah.
doing it.
Okay, and they've been doing a pretty good job with the Scott.
Yes, sir, it's just that some days you get one or two, and sometimes you don't get any, so it's kind of a hit and miss.
Yeah.
So
We have a lot of complaints about that airport's not, not being trimmed and maintained like it should be. And I think Frank would do a good job with it. And, we can,
Y'all been getting complaints about the airport, Scott? I've never heard that.
I have, not as far as the grass cutting. Only complaint we really get is not being able to get it cut fast enough.
yeah.
But that hadn't been anything recent, it's been in the past.
and you said that in the past that, who was mowing it before Frank and his crew started doing it?
The county,
Public Works,
Public Works.
they were having to, they've set aside, and it took roughly about 2.5, 3 weeks to mow all 600 acres roughly. Good. And so Frank's been taking it on themselves and just alternating, cutting it, kind of in different zones and just working their way through.
Yeah.
And so what you're proposing, Mr. Chairman, is that, just so I can make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, is that Frank will be over, Frank and his crew, I guess, or
Right.
the workforce will be over keeping the airport properties maintained, mowed, and the rest of the properties in the industrial park?
That's right. What's in the industrial park out there. He'll mow those streets out there in the industrial park, which the city is annexed into the city, because they're over the water and sewer out there. And, he'll take care of all of that, and the airport.
Okay, have we discussed this with Frank any, or, I mean?
We've talked to him, and, Scott has spoke to him about it, but he was supposed to have been here earlier, but he didn't, he had a MRI or something.
Yes, sir.
He had to go. So,
Well, I would just like to say, you know, and, I mean, I know that's got to take place about the mowing and all that, but before I would, you know, sign on, support that, I would like to find out exactly what it's gonna cost us and how we're gonna go about doing it, whether we're gonna have to buy some new equipment, I'm pretty sure, right?
right.
And, to find out what we're gonna have to do, and then see how it's gonna work out that way, you know, kind of weigh it out both ways.
Because we're not getting the roads mowed like they should be, and we need to take that load off of the public works, some of it, and let it be under the airport authority.
So how much is Public Works right now, Larry? I know you just come on, but how much is Public Works really mowing right now? Are they
500
mowing?
miles of road.
I got 2 men on, is that me? On the Momax machines, and that's all they're doing is doing the right of ways. As far as the shoulders in the road, we got Andy Rozier doing that. But I might have been the one got it started, because me and Frank's been talking, and I don't have 16 men. And that's all of them on motor grader and all 2 on motors. And I told him, we need to work out something where either they'd have to hire Public Works some more help, or they'd have to hire them some more help, because we can't do it all when it needs to be done.
So why can't you just hire some public works workers to do that and then use them for other places?
We could do that, because I've got 2 tractors right now with mowers that I'm not using, and Frank's got one of them at the airport.
Right.
He's using, trying to help us out. And I had one boy over there while that Momax machine was down for a day. He went over and mowed some of the rust stuff with the other tractor. But, you know, that's one thing I want to talk to y'all about directly is next year, we need some more manpower on the ground, labor and stuff, that public
Right.
works to do some of this
It
stuff.
just looks like it'd be more efficient to have public works people with you to use other places when you're not mowing or then having to set up a whole new department.
Yeah, I mean, however.
We ain't gonna set
y'all
up-
wanna do it, but right now, with Frank's help and my help, we ain't got enough to really do. what
Right,
needs to
I
be
understand.
done.
I understand.
I
Thank you,
mean, however y'all wanna do it's fine
Yeah.
with us.
thank you.
We think it'd be better off if we let Frank do the airport and that part out there, because he'd be able to look after it. He's right there on top of it every day. And then you can do the rest of the road.
Whatever
We-
y'all decide, either the airport or the public works don't
Yeah.
have enough manpower
We'll work it
to
out.
do the job right now.
We're gonna try to work it out.
So the
Okay.
bottom line is we need to have some more people to do mowing, whether it come from Public Works or from the airport.
Yes, sir.
And what the Public Works, you could really use them in more different areas whenever they're not mowing, because grass don't grow the whole year.
Especially in the wintertime.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they slow down, help try to pipe road or clean out ditches or something up.
Yeah.
We do have two tractors right now that we're not really using because we don't have the help.
Okay.
Just go hire some more people.
Hey, that's what I'm working on.
So, Mr. Chairman,
We
you
can't-
think that that building, it would have to be, I mean, if we left it like it is right now, where if they just hire more people for Public Works, and Frank does what he's doing, we could go and vote on this building now, right?
Well, you can vote on the building, but you wanna see if this building's gonna be big enough to accommodate the mowers and stuff.
Well, right
I
now,
mean, if they hire more help,
And the maintenance, because he needs somebody out there on maintenance and everything. He needs we need to break this thing out from the county, let the county do their thing and let the airport do theirs.
Yeah, I want to hear from Frank.
Huh?
I want to hear from Frank.
We, whenever we talk to Frank about it, but we've done talked to him, and Scott said, he said that he would do it. So, but we wanna table it until the next meeting.
Whatever y'all wanna do, you know, that's, it just takes manpower, y'all feel better than
Yeah, and then we can hire somebody to go out there and just mow.
Well, like you were saying, I can agree with you up to this point right here, Mr. Chairman, is that, okay, we all agree that we need to have more manpower to facilitate, you know, getting this grass cut. But at a certain time in the year, you're not gonna have to be cutting grass. So it would seem like it would
There's
be
a lot
better
of
if it
maintenance
went,
to do.
it would be better if it under public works, then that way Larry, he can put those same people and have them on something else. And then when the grass season starts, you know, then you put them back on there. But at the airport, if they were at the airport, then they would just,
that. Then wait.
right, exactly. Didn't wanna say it that way, but you know, it'd be just downtime that they would have, you know.
Okay, like I said, whatever y'all wanna do, but maybe him one needs some help to do it.
Agree.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larry. It's gonna be better though if you separate it. Let the airport do that maintenance out there, and let the county do theirs.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, proposed purchase for a 911 caliber CAD upgrade.
Mr. Chairman, this,
Come up.
Commissioner, this was left off accidentally from last meeting when it should have been included, and I asked Faye to
Is that,
kind of give a presentation on what this is really about.
Good evening. Mike Cooper from Ware County 911. I'm a little bit hoarse. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. The caliber, basically what CAD means is computer aided dispatch. And for that to make sense to you, because I know some of you have not seen our system that we work on now, let me just kind of show you what we were working on. The system that we have now, when we receive a call for service, we basically just, at the touch of a mouse or the click of a button, and we start typing the information in, putting in the signal's location, complainant's name, and typing the remarks, etc. But before the system that we have now that needs to be upgraded, this is what we were doing. We had to use these cards here for the fire department. Case numbers every month. Yes, sir. This is what I started on, and this is what we were doing just a few years ago, and we upgraded from. That's why we have a computer now that does this for us. Every time an officer goes on break, Mr. Lucas, what we do, we have to put
Call
you
in
out
dispatch.
a lunch on one of these cards. Everything was handwritten. Every time they do a traffic stop, call for service, we had to fill out these cards. So that's why we presently have what we have. Well, it doesn't stop there. When EMS is dispatched on a call, before the CAD, we had to fill out a sheet that looks like this. The time a call was received, the time it was dispatched, en route, on scene, en route to the hospital, and arrived at the hospital. CAD eliminates all of this. Well, let's just hang on, I have one more. And then we have the code sheets. This is what we were doing by hand. Every time someone calls for a record or repossession, we have to fill this out. And we have a little stack of all these papers. But with the CAD system, everything is input in there, and the only thing operators have to do is click a button, and they can actually link these calls together. And at the end of a call, especially for EMS, when the call is finished, the system closes it out, and it automatically emails the report to them. In the past, they would have to call us by phone, we have to go over everything with them to give them all of their times. And God forbid, if they needed a report by the end of the month of the year, we would have to go in the back room, pull up all of these papers and hand count everything. But with CAD, I just go into the reports, click a button, and get what we need generated, and it's done. Also, all of our phone numbers and everything is located in there as well for our businesses. The present CAD that we have, it is now not starting over each month for our case numbers. And the case numbers are very important court documents. When an officer goes out to a call, if he does a Stat 4 incident report, 5 for well, stat for is miscellaneous. If they do an incident report, accident, or traffic stop, they need a case number to attach to their incident. Well, this CAD system generates that for them automatically. But for some reason now, at the beginning of the month, it just keeps going. And we have had a ticket in on this thing for the past year and a half. And every month we have to put in a ticket. This last month, I had to take it and do it because the operators were too busy to upgrade it. I had to go in, delete all those case numbers that the CAD generated that were incorrect, delete them, call each officer by phone, and give them a new regenerated case number that I had to go in and manually fix. Preferably with this upgrade, that is going to take care of that. And we have had this system for about 5 years, and it is time for the software upgrade. And another good thing about it is too, once we dispatch police, fire, ambulance, especially with the fire department, they get an automatic text once they're en route to a call, so they don't have to call back and ask us what's the exact location. Sometimes they may have to, the officers may have to, because we're not linked up with the police department or the sheriff's office, but the fire department or the county, they receive text messages giving them the location and the remarks of the incident. And we don't have to go scrambling around on paper trying to find this information or look through it. We can just click a button, put it up, and give it to them.
Okay. That we just left this out before.
Yes, sir.
What's it gonna cost us to add it back? It's
83.
Add to.
83,000.
83 or 118.
It's 83,606.
Okay, and then what's the monthly bill gonna add? Raise it, how much?
$576.
76.
Does that cover the other one too, or this,
The other-
just for this one?
The CAD is computer-aided dispatch. It helps the dispatcher to document all the calls for service. The Viper that we talked about is the phone system where they receive the calls. And that is the one that we receive the text messages through that is able to recognize a foreign language and translate that for us. But the CAD is leaving this and going to a computer to do our work.
Okay.
So with this, it'll be one self-contained system.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good, I'm wrong for it.
And you stated, I guess it was just inadvertently, I guess, left off from whenever we voted, what was it, maybe about 2 meetings ago?
It was the last meeting.
It was the
Last meeting.
yes.
Last meeting, wasn't it? That we
Yes.
voted on it.
And this is, it pretty much go like hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand. Because once the phone system populates, it spills over into the CAD.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I add one thing, Mr. Chairman?
yep. Go ahead.
I think Ms. Fay will be okay with this. I've been out here numerous times, Ms. Fay knows that. If y'all would like to go visit and see what they actually do out there, and the safety measures that are in place when it comes to the deputies and even the city, fire, county fire, that kind of stuff, and see that where they can pinpoint the location if whoever needs any kind of emergency assistance. I mean, it's something really neat to go look at.
I welcome that.
Yeah.
I think the more you're familiar with the system, it will be better understood.
This is why, and I agree, Mr. Chairman, if I may, concur with Commissioner Lucas on that. I just took it upon myself to go out there. Wasn't anything coming up. I just wanted to go and physically see how things work out there so I could have a little vision. Whenever we're talking about 911, I would know what we're talking about. And I would also like to say this too. Ms. Cooper has been out there, seems like since I've known when 911, she's like the face of 911. And I was reading something in the paper, and they're having a lot of problems in Chatham County right now with their 911 system. And when I read that, I say, you know, thank God we have someone of your caliber here that's managing our 911, because they're having some serious problems in Chatham County with their 911 system. So I think anytime we can do anything to try to upgrade and try to make our system better, because at the end of the day, if any of us want an ambulance or we want a fire truck, we don't want to be talking about, well, you know, we got to go pull this red card out and find out, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know. So it's kind of antiquated, which that card system that you're using right now is pretty much antiquated compared to the technology that we have available to us now.
And this is what we migrated from. And previously, the old CAD system that we had, if we go down, if something would happen to it, we would have to go back to this, and we still keep it just in case the newer people there have to go go back, revert back, because it's always good to have that paperwork to go back to. But what we have now is able to mirror, and we can continue to work, and it will go back and upload once we're finished.
So, Mr. Chairman, so right now, I know we did the, what was it, the Viper? Okay, so what is this like a one-time cost, a monthly maintenance fee?
Your monthly is 5%.
83,000 is the one time, and then 576 monthly.
Okay, that's what I was just looking at back here, and I was trying to make sure I was understanding it correctly.
And I'd also like to add, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, honestly, 911 is all first responders' lifeline. Because, and they also dispatch, they will dispatch city and county units to GSP, they will dispatch them to DNR, just like they'll dispatch them to us as well. I say us, I'm retired now, but, it's a great thing. It really is. And if they can't do their job correctly, law enforcement, first responders can't do
And we
theirs
appreciate
correctly.
your support in keeping the system updated, because I do have friends that are 911 directors. They're actually having issues, not just Chatham County, because their commissioners just refuse to upgrade their systems to keep it updated so that they can serve the people correctly.
Okay.
And be efficient, and we want to remain efficient. This system will be up when I'm long gone and retired, because I will be, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
what you all
Appreciate
do.
you all, and just so you know, the radio system is antiquated as well. I spoke to Mike Monroe, he'll be giving some quotes soon. The brain of the radio system has been in there since like 2015, so we'll have that coming for you soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Ms.
thank
Baker.
you, Lee. All right, let's carry that one over. All right. Harper proposed purchase of Caterpillar Model 308 hydraulic excavator. Come up, Larry, see what you got.
I've got the quote from Yancey Brothers there in front of you.
Yeah.
What this is I just texted David for the weight, I ain't quite sure on the weight, but it's somewhere around 17,000 pound class machine. It's a very versatile machine for working side road, replacing a lot of driveway pipes and smaller type jobs. The county already has a small mini, and we also have a 320 that we can shuffle back over to the pipe laying crew that's coming. But this here would be able to, without destroying everybody's yard that would be working in, all it leaves a smaller footprint, but still able to handle 24-inch concrete pipes. We'll handle a 30 up close. And then also, he's quoted us a ditch cleaning bucket right here, which the 4-foot bucket, I think, is what we have on the grade all right now. This machine would also be able to clean out a ditch down the side of the county right-of-way road, and we can load it on the tandem axle dump truck. It's large enough that we can load it on a tandem axle dump truck. So we could actually do away with the grade all that has been so problematic in the last few years. And they've included, if you look on the back, they've included their premier warranty, including any kind of travel time. There's no travel time. Basically, there's no cost to the county as long as this thing runs warranty. Just I think the warranty, if I can read this little writing right here. They got the 2-year 2,000 premier coverage, and it's also got the 5,000 hour premier coverage. The 2,000 is standard, but it's stowed in the 5,000. That includes travel and mileage for repairs, which they're local right here in the town. So, you know, anytime you have a problem with Caterpillar, we have a bunch of mechanics out there. We can get somebody right to it.
Would you surplus out the great all or keep it just for emergencies?
I would sit with them boys out there and just see how much trouble it is to keep it running. I mean, there's no need, with this machine, we could use this machine also in that capacity. We could do away with the insurance and all that we keep on the grade all, as well as the operating and the maintenance of that machine, put it out for auction.
Okay. Thank you.
No other word.
Did you try another machine by Komatsu and Deere, or you just price this?
I just priced this machine because, you know, they're on the state contract where it's already been bid, and
Yeah.
till the first of the year, these prices is good, and that's about as cheap as you'll find on the machine right now.
Yeah.
And plus they're local right
Plus,
here.
they're local, yes. sir.
Right.
And they have two machines on one of the yards somewhere, if y'all decide to purchase it, be no delay in getting the equipment. But they are local. The Komatsu, I have no problem with Komatsu, but, you know, they're 2 hours away, 2.5 hours to Albany, or 2.5 hours to Savannah. So you got a man, if you have a problem here, that's 5 hours travel time every day, he comes to work on that machine.
Yeah, but they don't come work on them Komatsus.
Well, they don't come work on these Caterpillars either. I mean, it's what you pay for.
They good.
Did John Deere give a quote?
I just got this one quote, because it was on state contract. If y'all want me to get some more quotes, I will.
This
Hey, I
is the
really-
size that you need for your new crew?
It's,
This is the size they're working with right now at the city. They're using this machine here and the 210 John Deere. And this machine here, on the last couple of jobs we've done, the 210's too big, but this will handle a heavy pipe.
it's a 20,000 pound.
20,000? Okay.
So it'll do what you would need to be done.
For the most part, yes, sir. I mean, 'cause if it
Then
don't
you got
do
the
it,
bigger one if you
then we
need.
got the 320 if we don't need it.
Right,
No.
okay.
I think, like I said, I know, and like I said, I don't know either one of them and don't have a dog in the fight, but just for clarity, I think we got a couple more bids just to see,
Oh, that's fine.
you know, and, I think that would be the wise and the prudent thing to do.
We can do that. That ain't no problem.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Mr. Larry,
Yes, sir.
whenever we grade these roads, will this piece of equipment or something equivalent help dig some of these ditches out?
Yes,
Because
sir,
that's
it
what a
will.
lot of people's complaining about.
It will. It will.
I mean, we got a bunch of ditches that, when they grade them, it's like the road's going lower, but the ditches are going higher.
Yeah, yeah. We working on that right now too. We slowed the graders down and having to pull the ditches and get the road, the dirt back up in the road, even if they have to make 2 or 3 passes on the ditches and start crowning these roads back up.
Okay.
And so that maybe next time, every time we have a half inch of rain, it won't cut everything out.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the pipe crew people on board yet?
I talked with them today and talked with Teresa. They called me because they turned in their 2 weeks' notice and they hadn't heard nothing. So I called, checked with them, and a couple of them will be here Monday. And the others got to finish out their 2 weeks' notice. I said, don't burn no bridges where you ever go. So sometime next week and a half, 2 weeks, we should have a crew.
And that'll be a
So you
pipe
need to
crew.
get bids sooner than that and let us know, have a call meeting to approve it, or you need it that quick?
Well, I mean, you know, they got that little small tractor and, you know, and then that 320, we can do some of
Get
these
by.
larger pipes right now till y'all decide.
Okay. Thank you.
You gotta, okay. But I think we need a little bit bigger tractor than that. That ain't quite big enough for the county.
Come on, this 308.
Yeah, that ain't big enough.
1,000 pound, that way they got a trailer out there they can pull behind that old fire truck, and you ain't got to have a low board.
They ain't got no reach on them, or they won't reach down in the bottom of them ditches, clean out them canals,
Well,
stuff
I
like
got
that.
320 to do that with, and
Yeah.
then we got a 250 out there. I mean, whatever y'all recommend, but this class machine is a real versatile machine for
Yeah.
small.
Now, let's get some more prices though. Komatsu
Okay.
a deer. and, Komatsu's a good machine.
Apples to apples.
Yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. I've had Komatsu machines, there's nothing wrong with them except
Okay.
for the distance to a dealer.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that, you know, just like he was saying about the type tractor that they need, and then I know the chairman, he has a lot of knowledge about that.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any about that. If you start talking about building a house or running a train, I can talk with you about that, but I can't. So my reliance would be on ultimately what you said, the public works director, because you're the one that's gonna have to be out there with it. But I think with the input, you know, like I say, from the chairman, he knows a little bit about it. I don't know about the rest of them, you know, but I don't know anything about these 308s, 320s. Nothing about them.
Any thoughts? Well, I'll get a couple of prices from John Deere and one from Komatsu on that same. You
Yeah.
wanna go with a bigger tractor?
I think you would.
Once you get over to 20,000 pounds, you're getting up there to the
You need about-
30,000 pound class, and then you're right there at the 320 size there.
Yeah,
And we already have a
We
320.
already have a 320,
We don't need two of the same size, do you?
not much.
Okay,
this is equal to
I'm good.
120.
No, well, this, 120 weighs 31,000, it's like a 312.
That's what you really need, or something about like a 120.
Well, we got a 160 out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about, it's got a bunch of hours, and the guy fixing to put it in the shop for some work, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, we'll look at it. Let's price some different ones.
Okay.
You
I
know,
appreciate you, Mr. Larry, trying to keep the business
All right.
local too.
appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Larry. Harper proposed purchase of a roof replacement for the Emergency Operations Center.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, this was a project that's been need to be done for quite a few years. Jonathan can probably elaborate there, but this is to replace the roof out there with ARPA funds. We got a proposal from Brantley Roofing for $94,000. I think it's, $94,000. And we recommend changing it because we're having leaks out there. We're having to patch constantly. I'm not sure. I thought someone told me that roof was about 30 years old. Jonathan, do you know how old that roof is? Offhand?
I think they redid it when we moved out there in 2005.
Okay.
They did some work to it, majority of it, but since that time, it's, and especially in the last 5 years, that thing has leaked, poured water everywhere in the building, and created mold and other issues like that, so it needs some attention pretty quick.
Okay.
And that's also what the 911 center is too, right?
Yes, sir.
And we sure don't want no water coming in on them vipers and them cabs,
No, we're paying that kind of money.
none of that now. Spending all this money.
I know when I worked out there 35 years ago for the Regional Development Center, there was more water coming in the building than was outside. And it was bad. I don't know if it's been replaced since I was out there, but it was awful.
Like I said, I think that they did some, when we moved in there in 2005, when they renovated it from the for RDC, they did the majority of it then, but it's, that's been 20 years now. And, it's leaking every time it rains, it's over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, the same thing
Is,
on the quotes that we got. Did we get any other bids on that roof?
The last couple of times we did this, maybe the last 3 times we did, because of the last one we got was from the library. The only one that gave us a proposal was Brantley Roofing.
Did they give a written response, an email or something, they weren't interested or what?
Not that I'm aware of, but we touched base just to make sure that the last few times they
I
didn't
just think,
respond.
personally, along this line, you get proposals, that's fine, but I think the minutes in these packages need to verify that proposals were made, and then get a
Exactly.
copy that we are refusing.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
record.
or was it advertised like, to ask for somebody to give a price on it? To
Yes, sir.
Roof it?
Yeah,
It was
He
advertised like it should have been?
called around to get proposals, and I think this might be the only one he got.
And the
but we'll
only one
verify
you
that.
got?
Yeah, just verify.
We
what
just
you did.
verified that we didn't get, this was the only one we got.
Only one you
Sure
got,
can.
okay.
Yeah, and I know Brantley, they do a good job and all, but I'm just saying,
I go along with that.
as stewards of the taxpayer money, we need to make sure that we cover ourselves and say, hey, we did send out proposals and this is the only one that we got
Yeah.
back, and we can cover ourselves on that.
I'll check with Billy. I think we did, but I'm not certain, but I will check on that.
And we can pay for this on ARPA, with the ARPA money,
Yes, sir.
ARPA funds? Okay. Okay. Anything else on it? Carry it over. All right. Georgia DOT Local Road Assistance LARC Proposal Project List. We've got a list here. what I wanna do is, Scott, can we use this money to do that paving that we've already voted on to pave these roads, like
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Wadley
it's up
Road,
to the
to
commission's
Pascal
discretion.
Road? If we go and spend this money on these other streets here, then we're gonna be short on these roads that we promised these people we'd pave. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can, yes, sir, it's up to the county commission, the discretion of county
Okay.
commission to use the road. You can use it however you need to, as long as you're improving roads. That's basically
Okay.
the
Now, I
standard.
understand that the list we've already had, we've already voted on it, that, 2 or 3 months ago, all of that money for those streets had already been obligated and ready to go. Right?
The original list from a
There were
few
three
months ago,
sections.
yes, sir.
And that money's obligated and we got it
That's correct.
in our accounts.
Hold on now, Jerry, how about the
So-
one that we just voted on the other day? Now, you got that money for them roads? They ain't never been bid off or nothing.
Right, we would.
But
yeah,
we're
we
not
would-
gonna
we
go
would
pave
definitely-
all this
yeah,
here.
The ones that were added the last go-round, maybe a couple, 3 months ago, we would have to have funding. We have some, but not enough to cover that. We got probably half of the funds to do it. And it also depends on how fast the designs get done.
That's right.
I would suggest that whenever the designs get done, for whatever's needed in right of way, whichever ones are ready to go, move through and get those done. So that way we're getting them completed and your costs won't rise over time.
Okay,
It's really up to the commission to do that, but the original list from a year or so ago, year and a half ago, however long it's been,
We
those were
waited 1 year
committed.
to get to
Right.
that point.
That's correct.
Those are the one we need to go and make sure we get those before we even start talking about this other stuff. And now,
That's
the
right.
one, this is the
Yeah.
1 almost 1.4
Yeah.
million, but we also had 1.2 million
Right,
that,
Okay.
wasn't obligated in the streets right then, right?
that's correct. Right.
We
But
just need
you're-
to turn something in so we can get this money and not miss it.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah. It's up to the discretion of the county to use it for that or whatever projects you would like to add it to.
well, okay. Now, we need to pave them that we got on there, them dirt roads that we agreed to pave the other day.
Because you could
We
have
got
those
Pascal
roads
Road.
ready to go to advertisement before some of those previous ones get finished. It's very possible because it depends on how fast they're able to get the surveys in and get it
That's right.
designed and get it
Yeah.
QC'd and advertised.
But if we go spend this $1.5 million on these here, right here, and, then our road comes in, we need some money.
So we don't really need, on these roads right here, we need to kind of put these kind of on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah,
get
they
them on.
already got it. Them's already paved right there.
Yeah.
Them people ain't running through the mud and the water.
Yeah, this is for like for resurfacing.
Yeah, there you go. This old boy said, we don't need to be paving it a foot thick when we already, want them people out there running through the mud and the water.
You know, 'cause we got too many people that's been coming up here since I've been on this commission,
These
and
dirt
some of
roads.
them, like when Commissioner Nelson was here, trying to see about getting their roads paved, just wanting to try to get out the mud, and we just keep kicking the can down the road, but it's
That's
time for
right.
us to step up to the plate now. We got the funding, and we don't need to keep rehashing it and going back into, you know, just need to move forward.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. County
Anybody?
Manager, if I may,
Yeah,
this, I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is us asking, or GDOT being on board with giving us road assistant money.
right.
Okay, so that's not us paying that 1.5 million, that's GDOT paying the majority of that.
Right. Right. They're gonna give us that money to, if I understand it right, that's right.
But
Yeah, we
that's
need to
not
put
coming
it
from
on-
taxpayers, that's coming from
Right.
GDOT.
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah, right, yeah. So let's put it on these roads that we've already agreed to pave. We all voted on paving roads.
Well, we can't
And we give them to
use
the
this money.
engineers, huh?
We can't use this money to
Oh,
pay
yeah.
them roads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, this is just a
Yeah,
list that they
that's
got
what-
up.
that's
They,
what it's
GDOT
for.
didn't send this
That's
list
what it's
now.
for. But don't, we gotta find some somewhere.
Yeah.
And when we get the money here to pave it with, let's pave them. Then if we got some left, then we'll come back and patch these roads.
Okay.
Okay.
We just gotta have, something turned in to them to get this money.
We done.
That way
yeah,
we can get it.
We got it.
Now, let me ask this, Scott, so if we were turning in, like, I'm glad Commissioner Sanders brought up, So if we would turn this in and this the list, we can go back and change that. It's not set in stone that we have to use it for these roads, right?
Well, we have to turn in an application on what we're gonna use it for,
Yeah.
what
Okay,
road
so we can-
specifically.
So we have to turn it on.
So we
road.
would,
Yeah,
That's
we,
what I
and
just
those, the application for this, the LRA application is due the 15th of this month.
Okay,
So
so-
you really got to the end of
and
the
we
month.
have to allocate that money to what we turn
Correct.
into it. We
Yes.
can't use it if we run short on another road.
That's right,
Right.
yeah.
That-
We
that's-
go
that
ahead
was-
and tell them what we're planning on using it for.
So we used it. We gotta put it on it.
Well, make sure Mount Pleasant is still on there. We've been working out a lot
It
of
is.
time. I'm not voting for anything unless that's on there.
It's on there.
Okay.
Now, y'all talking about taking all this off and starting over on another road.
No. I think
Yeah.
that's what we just clarified, Commissioner.
We may
If
take
we
it off.
approve this, we got to use the money for
We
these.
got to use it for this if send it up there.
Yeah, 'cause we done voted to do it. Okay, any
Now,
more?
the money you're talking about, this money, the LRA money, are you talking about the list that we gave you, this example list, or using all
LRA
the
list.
road to pave the roads that y'all approved, what, a month or two ago? I
That's
can't
what y'all are
remember.
talking about, taking this.
The
money and
actual
putting it on
paving,
these other
this
roads.
is resurfacing here on this list.
That's right.
And I think Chairman's mentioning paving, dirt road paving projects.
Yeah,
For the-
that we started working on a year ago. Those, to me, should take precedent over this.
So other words, we couldn't take, we
Right,
can't,
that's what I mean, it's the paving projects, not this list,
Right.
that's in the book.
we can't take this LRA money. If we turn this list in now, we can't use this money to say pay Pascal Road with.
Yeah.
If you turn it in,
I'm talking,
yes, sir.
but if
We done
Pascal
turned
is
it
not
in.
on here,
If it's, yeah, we'll have to, this is ones we just come up with ourselves,
Right.
staff did. But if you're wanting to use it for Pascal and Griffin and Wadley, the ones that y'all did last time, the last couple, 3 months ago, whenever it was, we'll have to submit those roads as part of, on this application.
okay, but right now, we currently have the funding in place for those roads. This would just be an addition to,
Those were added. Those were added outside of the funding, so we would need, if I'm not mistaken, there's about half of the funding that we would need for those roads, and there were, gosh, I can't remember, it was like, Brendan, are you in the room? Was
He went to
Brendan
check, he went to check on a road that,
Yeah, there was probably about $4 million of paving in there for all those roads.
okay, so like I
So-
said, this is just a sample list, basically.
That's all this is.
So what we, like I say, we need to try to stick with what we already got.
That's
we need to
right.
turn that list in
Right,
and try
that's
to
what
get
we need to
LRA
stick
money
with.
for those.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
need to.
If we're short on that funding, we need to get this funding to help with that money.
Exactly.
That's kind of agreed.
Exactly. Yep. Because like I say, these people, they're not in the mud right here.
No,
Right, they're already on
they
pavement.
just some patchwork really need to be done on a lot of them.
We can do some patchwork on them. Just like the, North River Road. Let's see, he's got on here, I believe that's, Kirkland North River Road is $638,000. You're gonna overlay that whole road and there ain't but two little patches, two little holes in it. We're gonna spend $600,000. And then on Mount Pleasant Road and 8 Mile Post Road, from the Lottie Tatum Road to Huckleberry, hell, that was just done not too long ago. I ain't going for this right here. Somebody just threw this list of mess right here and got $1.5 million on it. That ain't right there.
Like I said, that was just
That
a
ain't what-
sample, this
no.
was like a sample list.
That ain't what they said they was gonna do, though, Lennon.
Yeah, but
I will say that Mount Pleasant Road does need a lot, if you're gonna patchwork, it needs a lot of
It
patchwork.
needs a little bit of patching on it, but that's just a road. It ain't no, that ain't no through road. It don't have a lot of traffic on it. We got some dirt road, got more traffic than that has.
But like I said, it's just a sample list and it's not set in stone.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to make the final decision as to
That's right.
which roads,
Right.
how we gonna funnel this money. And my thing would be, hey, this is great, this is a list they put up, but then we need to take the money that we getting, this grant, and apply it toward what we already have to try to facilitate getting those roads done.
I agree.
We won't pave some dirt roads
That's right.
instead of going around here overlaying all these other roads and putting this money on that. We need to put it on these dirt roads. Okay, any more?
So who's gonna generate the list we're gonna vote on again? To start over, who's gonna generate
We got a
that?
list.
We'll just, I mean, we already got that list, we'll just have to compile it and put it in the application to send it to them.
That list we voted
And we
on.
will vote on what we give the state, right?
Well, what we'll do is the list that's already been generated for the dirt road paving, we would have to add that because it's due at the end of this week,
Right. You just
Yeah.
add that to, put that in the application.
basically, yes.
Right, okay.
Yep.
And make sure Mount Pleasant's in there.
Make sure Pascal's in there.
Yeah.
It better be in there.
And Torrey.
Well, I guess what he can do, he can send us that list before he submits it. He can email us.
I'll send it out to you,
Yes,
just let y'all
let us know.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
Already. This ain't the list.
any more discussion on it? F, discussion of the Jetback 900 ECO truck purchase. Y'all gonna buy the truck?
No, sir.
Okay.
You don't need that.
Jerry, you gonna buy the truck?
I write a check for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sammy can use it in his business.
I probably could, but I don't think Larry will let me do that.
No, they run me off.
Larry?
If y'all have any questions about this material, it's 2 or 3 of you actually come out and send a demonstration.
I couldn't
I
make
got
it.
some pictures on the phone if the others want to see it.
How big a need is it for Mr. Larry?
Well, you know, I'm like you and Elmer, I hadn't never seen one used, we always used to pump out lift station or something other than at the city. Them boys, they clean out boxers, storm drains, suck sand out of storm drains, I mean, we have a lot of longitudinal pipe and boxers in the more developed areas of Ware County that we could use it to clean them pipes and do some maintenance. As well as in the rural areas, all these side drain pipes get stopped up with that sugar sand every time it rains. You come out there and you blow that thing through there, the good thing about it, you're sucking the sand up while you're there. And so that, we carry that back to the hill and reuse it. And it's just a lot of benefit for it. And in Ware County, you could use it every day.
I talked to some other people in other counties that have them, and they say that's their number one machine that's so versatile with all the work you can do with them.
Yeah, I can show you.
Well, you can actually do some excavating with it too.
What?
You can actually do some excavating with them
You
too.
can, and that's this machine here. You can take that high pressure pump, you can knock it loose around lines where if you need the pipe crew, you can't stick a bucket in the ground for the utilities. They come out and blow that off. You can see utilities without damaging them, get to your pipe. I mean, you could use this somewhere in Ware County every day. Every taxpayer would benefit from it, not just the folks that we're gonna pay the roads for. I mean, we could use it to maintain what we got. These places in the county that people don't want you to come there with that great auger excavator and clean out the ditch because they mow it. This here, you come in there and clean out the pipe and get it where when it gets high water, it will flow through there, and then when the water runs off, they still got a ditch they can mow, and then it just got to hold a little water in the pipe for a little while. I mean, if you wanna see some pictures where the mud we cleaned out of one pipe out on Palmer the other day, demonstration, I got them on my phone, if you'd like to see them.
I just got one question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
But I thought our water and sewer was under Satilla.
It is.
Yeah,
So why would we buy something with taxpayer money when it's Satilla's obligation?
This is storm
This
drain
truck-
boxes.
this is storm
This
water.
This
Storm
is
water,
truck
yes.
more for sewer than anything. It's actually made for a sewer system.
Yeah.
But you can use it for other things, some things.
You
But
can
it
use
won't do
for
enough
storm
for
water.
us, I don't think, to pay its way.
You can get a head on this thing and I cut a root 2 inches with just the water pressure off out of the pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a versatile piece of equipment, and it'll sure help us clean the pipes and maintain what you got. But it's a lot of money, I understand that, but when you look at the benefits you get from Ware County as a whole, you put 2 men on there and they go down the road, and there's a lot of variables that affects this, but, they could probably do 10 or 15 pipe a day with this machine, cleaning them out.
Mr. Chairman, You know,
Go ahead.
and I was out there and I appreciate, Larry, you know, setting it up before we could watch the demonstration. And, you know, a lot of times we talk about the problems in Ware County and, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this here, but at some point in time, we got to step up to the plate. It's gonna cost money. And we can keep dancing around the issue and all that, but the problem's still there. Now, just like with that, bike arm truck, you know, and pipes, and I rode with the chairman, he and I rode, for several hours, just looking at these pipes that's in the county where the people stop them up and then some of them just stopped up from sand and whatever. And this is what's causing a lot of problem with the flooding in people's yards and stuff, because the pipes just not there, it's not getting through.
It's not doing what it's supposed to do because it stopped up.
All right, and so, you know, with that being said, I mean, at some point in time, we're gonna have to pay the piper. You know, we got to, it costs, you know, a lot of time, and sometimes it's just like in a business or anything else, you got to reinvest back into that business and
Yes, sir.
get this, newer equipment. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the kind of stuff. I know I've been in the city and always lived in the city, but it's a different animal out here in the county with these pipes and all this kind of stuff. So, and one thing I like about that is you got bigger heads you can put on there.
Yes, sir.
to-
You can get them with saw blades, you can get them all kind of, you can, you know, the sky's the limit with what you can do when it's as far as cleaning out storm sewer drains and such as that.
Now, one question I have for you, Larry, just like it's going back to about this mowing.
Yes.
Okay, we can get all this equipment and stuff, but we still got to have manpower
And see, yes,
to
sir.
use it.
I've got two of the crew that we have just waiting on their time to get here. That's what they have been doing. You know, then we're gonna have to hire some other men to put on the pipe crew, but, you know, that would, you know, we got trained operators that run this piece of equipment if y'all wanted to invest in it, coming on board now.
And just like, when we bought these two, what is it called, brush trucks or whatever, you know, the one that, not brush truck, but the thing that mows,
The Momaxes,
Momax,
tractors,
and which, you know, the chairman, instead of us getting one, let's go and get two.
yes, sir.
Because he realized, hey, biggest kind of this is, we need to have it, and that's when we got a lot of positive feedback from people about that,
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
know, about how that made a difference, you know.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't want to buy two of them, but, you know, it's, but, you
You
know,
know.
Ware County's the biggest county in the biggest state east of the Mississippi.
That's
what
right.
They told us in school.
That's right, it still is,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so.
Before we buy this back truck there, I think we need to clean these ditches out. And let's look at all these ditches, let's get all them cleaned out. And then we'll look at cleaning out pipes. And, but if these here outfall ditches and all these road ditches and around the mouth of these pipes, if we'll clean all them out, then I'll look at a back truck. But right now, I don't know if we need to spend this much money on this thing, cause it won't do nothing if you ain't gonna clean them ditches out. And we need a year to clean the ditches out.
Well, the thing where this comes in, these people, like some of the more developed areas, they do not want you cleaning that ditch out because they have got a thing where they can mow it and keep it nice and manicured. And the only thing you can do is clean that pipe out. And you can clean that pipe out just like we did that down on Tolman Road the other day, where when that ditch fills up, that water's gonna run on out so far, and it might hold some water in that pipe after we got it clean, but that will still function for that ditch and keep the taxpayers happy and keep us out of their yard.
No, that won't work like that, Larry.
Yeah.
Now, you got to clean the ditch out first, water ain't going nowhere. It don't matter if you clean pipes all day long now.
Well, I want a man to do that too, for next
You
year's
got to
budget.
clean the ditches
To
out.
clean out these canals and all. But, you know, right
Yeah.
now, it would be a major asset if y'all wanted to purchase it. And we got ARPA funds, you got free money from the government if you wanted to use it. But that's, like I said, this is up to y'all gentlemen, y'all make decisions, we'll do whatever y'all want to do.
Okay.
I was gonna mention too, just be aware of a pushback. You have quite a few folks out there that do not have driveway pipes and do not intend to buy driveway pipes. So when you start cleaning out ditches
Yes,
and
sir.
you start pulling those ditches and dringing them out, you're gonna you're gonna pull out their driveway without a pipe.
I had two
And then
called Thursday.
And then when you go to tell them they gotta go buy a driveway pipe to have us install it, just get ready for phone calls.
I I had 230.
be aware of that.
Shore.
Well, ain't that the county's place to do that, boy? Is to fix the ditch and put the pipe in? Ain't that our place?
It is, but they
That's
have,
okay.
they have to.
Well, that's
they have to
our
come and
duty.
purchase it. Yeah, they have to pay for it.
Well, if they didn't have one, they wouldn't. If you
Yeah,
cleaned the
but
ditch out, cause if
we
they
voted.
never had one there,
That's what
you
I
didn't
mean.
make them put
Yeah.
one, then the code didn't make them put one there, then we'd have to put it in.
Well, that's what I'm running
If you're gonna
into
cut the
now.
ditch out.
Yeah.
What I'm running into now is I had two men Thursday call me to be sure they had the right name to report to y'all, because I had the man on the road grader plow out the ditch where the water had drained, where they had put dead ramps in the ditch, circumvented Schubert, anybody from buying the pipe.
Yep.
And we have that all over the county. And I mean, and, you know, if you want me to clean the ditches.
You need to clean the ditches out.
I've
You got the code man, carry him with you. If they fuss about it, you on your right of way. You clean the ditch out.
we'll play on my.
That's where you supposed, that's what you're supposed to do.
We'll sure play on my.
Cause every time you turn around, somebody's calling about the road washed out because the ditch wasn't opened
Well,
up.
and it's the, and it's the
clean-
same,
cut the
it's
ditches out.
the same people, Mr. Chairman, that's got the dead ramp right there, and the water comes down through everybody else's pipe, and it stops at this dead ramp, and it can't go nowhere. Then it comes across the road or across the end of their driveway, and then they call wanting the county to fix it, because they ain't followed the guidelines like the rest of the county has, and bought a pipe
Well, cut it out and put a pipe in it.
for free.
Yeah. Let the county pay for
No, we done
it.
done
If
that.
he had a ramp across there, and it was never, nobody ever told him to put one in there, and he's stopping up the ditch, and he's been there for years, then you put him a pipe in there.
So Joseph.
You ain't gonna find but just a few of
Josephine
them.
Park out there, so all them out there's got dead ramps.
Where at?
Josephine Park, so all them got dead ramps out there, they gonna put pipes in for free.
Yeah, I reckon so. If y'all let them build a road across there, who let them build a road across there?
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
If
time
the
ago.
county let the road be built like that, and they accepted it, then it's the county's place to fix it.
Something just don't sound right about that.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You got.
If you went out there and let them build them roads out there and put all them driveways in without a pipe, and you accepted it like that, and now you're saying it stopped up.
You got,
So now it's gonna be our fault to put it back, to
so
put a
what
pipe in.
about those folks that paid for their pipe? Are we gonna reimburse them for the pipe?
No, because he did what he was supposed to do, but we let the other ones buy with it, so it'd be on us. Our code department or something failed or somewhere. Now, y'all can sit in and argue all you want to, but I'm gonna quit that, because you need to, if you promise somebody something, you're gonna build a road, and you let them all put driveways in and don't make them put a pipe in it, and then later on you're gonna come back. Now, council, am I wrong or right?
Mr. Chairman, what I might suggest is if you'll allow staff some time and let us study on the issue and see, you know, practically what are we looking at. I would not recommend going outside what our current policy is. There may in fact be people who, you know, have driveways from years and years ago before our
Sure. current
policies were in effect. And so we probably need to study on how to deal with those. Certainly, I know everybody's goal is good drainage in Ware County, so if you'll let staff study on that a little bit, and then maybe we can make a recommendation to you all on how to handle that before we proceed forward as we discussed
Yeah,
today.
because I think if you told me that I didn't have to put a pipe in a driveway and you let me have it, and then 10 years later, you're gonna come in and say, no, you got to pay for a pipe to go under here. I said, no, you put your one under there.
And folk,
I mean,
well, I'll let y'all study on that.
but council, you find out about that, and let us know about that, because I don't think that would be right. That wouldn't be treating the people right.
So in the meantime, what are we gonna do? All right, you say about pulling the ditches and clean the ditches, but once we do that, then we're gonna still need some kind of way for maintenance as far as those pipes, to clean those pipes out, right?
Yes, sir. You will.
I mean, keep, for the drainage.
You will. You gonna need something?
Because if you put a new pipe in it, it'll be cleaned out.
Scott, this is recommended a 3-year lease with a buyback.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and the, funds are available for the, to do the lease payments. They are?
Get marked up there.
Yeah, was that a yes or no?
It is.
It is.
Okay. Any more
I'm
discussion
good to
on the
make a
back
decision now.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd like to call somebody up that I think has a little bit of insight in this with the city, Mr. Mark, dealing with ESG.
I bet he wish he hadn't showed up.
I hate to call you on the spot like that, Mark, but
Was he?
I know you got some insight when I think it's ESG, is that right? Is that who
Water and
does?
sewer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's who does the city stuff?
That does city water and sewer.
And they got one of these same systems?
They do.
Yeah, they got some in the truck. City got a couple of them, I think.
It's the city's vehicle. They use it, yes, sir.
They're cities.
Well, the reason I wanted to call Mark up here, first question is, does it work
It does work.
to y'all's satisfaction?
Yes, sir. We use it regularly.
Well, instead of
Unclog
us,
drains, like I said, debug the boxes, the sanitary storm drains boxes, all of that, we use it regularly between the city and ESG.
okay, so ESG owns them, not the city.
City owns it.
No, the
ESG
city
uses it
owns
as well.
All right, well, can I make a proposal on this thing? If we can get it worked out with the city, since we co-op on other things, see if this thing is really gonna benefit the county, and let's
Rent it from,
rent it from the city instead of paying this much money to do a 3-year lease. $500,000 to do a 3-year lease.
we've, I'm thinking that we've already rented one
Is that renting it or
before.
buying it?
That's with a buyback.
This, the proposal we've got right here is for a 3 or 4 year lease with a balloon payment at the end, which is a lease payment.
But a buyback.
Then you
They'll buy
Or
back.
you could buy it back.
Mark, do you think we could talk with whoever, since y'all actually own the property, if we could
Like I
do,
said, we first the city manager and get his take on it.
Mr. County Manager, you think we can do that?
What's that?
Talk with the city manager and rent the city's vehicle, this Vicon, before we go spend this much money?
Yeah, we have a private company. I don't know what the rates may be, but we have one that we use on occasion.
We've rented.
Outside a private company that does it.
Well, I mean, a lot of our equipment, you know, just like our SARS equipment, you know, we intermingle those. So why couldn't this be something that we could intermingle with the city and pay a whole lot less? You know, I mean, because we swap out vehicles, not swap out, but the city uses our equipment, we use their equipment.
Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing on this?
Yeah.
I can inquire for sure.
Can we
I
do that,
think the
please?
city manager is supposed to be here for the 5 o'clock meeting, so that might be
Good time?
yeah.
Instead of us spending $500,000, you know?
Okay.
On something we ain't even gonna own.
Right.
That's what I would like to know a buyback price after
The buyback would be in your program there, Shane, or your paper, on that last, one of those pages that shows you that, yeah, for the buybacks, actually, this is the balloon payment on the lease document, so you'd have, I think it's 4 individual payments. Yeah, the annual lease payment would be $154,168.62, and that would be your buyout at the end of the lease contract if you wanted to purchase it, or if you want to turn around and roll into a newer truck.
would be one annual lease payment,
Yes, sir.
$154,000 to buy.
Annual lease payment was $154, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then at the end of the, what is that, 3 year? Yeah, 3 years, it's
3-year lease with a buyback of $155,000.
Yeah. And then you would own it.
Then you would own it. And this truck here's got the simplest design out there, Sam. You know, some of these other Vicon trucks, everything works off the PTO. This works like a cement truck, so it don't have a transfer case. So if somebody gets in there and they don't take it out of gear, drive down the road,
Don't burn
they ain't
pump
load the
up.
transfer case and transmission out of it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Thank you, Mark.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Any more? Okay.
Do you want to take it off of the regular meeting, the truck?
Well, let's talk
We'll
to the
vote
city
on it, I
manager.
guess.
talk to the city manager when he gets here first before we vote on it. I'd like to anyway. I'd like to inquire with him
So tell me what you talking about is like renting
from the city.
From the city.
Well, I mean, they use our fire equipment. You know, we use we intermingle equipment all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't this just be another one of those things?
I just don't think
Our
the
SARS
county
fire
needs
trucks.
the thing. We don't have that much work.
I mean, they got both of our SARS fire equipment in city firehouses right now.
Well, Mr. Chairman, all these stopped up pipes and stuff we got, seems like we need it. To me now, like I say. Because, see if you get the ditches cleaned out and everything, then how we gonna keep these drain pipes open up?
Where's the main one stopped up at, other than the ditches?
Well, I'm talking, when you get the
If
ditches.
you clean out the
cleaned-
mouth of them ditches, them pipes will, usually the water will run out of them.
Cities, you know,
So,
why can't we use the cities? That's my biggest question.
All right, let's move on from this, we'll either put it over and vote on it. Okay, let's go to G. Facility use request. Kennedy L. Sanders swamp class. Okay, that's, you read up on that. You know what that is,
yeah,
Mr. Burris?
yes, Mr. Chairman, this is, for the Kennedy L. Saunders, you know, the young lady that was, unfortunately, you know, a victim in
Yeah, she
the,
was,
drone attack over in, Far East over there.
right.
And, they have a foundation set up, and my understanding is that they're wanting to, they're doing a lot of different things, you know, with the foundation and different things in her, honor. And one of they want to have a classic basketball tournament at our facility, Record Trimming and Earth, on the 28th and the 29th, and all they're asking for right now at this time is a waiver of the fee as far as for the use of the, gym.
Okay,
And, the parents are here, and also the rate director's here, so maybe they can fill us in just a little bit more as
Yeah.
to what they're hoping to accomplish with this.
okay.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm Oneida Oliver Sanders, the mother of Sergeant Kennedy L. Sanders, and this will be the first year that we are trying to have a basketball tournament to raise funds for her foundation. The foundation will cover expenses like scholarships that we're giving out every year. We've already given some out this year. It'll cover a shoe drive and different events and service projects that we are trying to have in her honor, which will be annual events.
Okay.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to mention too that Ms. Saunders, she's, was a school board member for, 16 years? And her husband, he's a retired Marine, I believe, yes, he's in the Marines. So, and then, like I said, that daughter, which was over in one of the three that was killed over in the drone attack over there. So, and Mr. Adamson, you have anything you want to add to this, will it conflict with anything we already got scheduled out there?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commission. The June 28th, 29th weekend is, at this point, is available. The only thing I just spoke with Ms. Sanders about is just the start time on that Friday night, that it'll start at 6 o'clock, so that our summer day camp can end at 5:30. They'll come in at 6 o'clock, so it should not be a conflict on our recreation activities.
Okay, so they just wanna use the facility
Yeah, the
for that?
gym, the
That's
gym for
fine.
basketball tournament
Okay.
for that
Yeah.
Friday night and Saturday.
Okay.
Do
And what we're voting on is to waive the fee, the rent fee.
That's correct.
Okay.
waive the fees, okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Do we have to furnish the, security or anything that we
They
do?
will actually furnish the
They'll
security
furnish
themselves.
everything?
Yes.
Okay,
And we have also maintained liability insurance for
Yes.
those 2 days.
okay.
And that will, we can incorporate that, the insurance in. First off, I'd like to say so sorry for your loss. Thank you for your service.
Your sacrifice too.
I
you
thank her
your
for her service and you for the school board. Your daughter went to school with my kids, so they knew her personally, and I know she was a good kid and was doing good things. But I did want to know if we can integrate this insurance policy plan. That'll be fine in integrating it to our gym.
Okay.
Anytime someone rent our facility, they have to have
Have to,
insurance.
okay, all right.
Football, anything they do, they have to have insurance for any event of this magnitude.
Okay,
So it's already a part of our rental agreement.
I'm good.
As far as on the, concession, all that, y'all got all that worked out too?
Yeah, so this
Okay.
event will be at
Okay.
the concession.
And they won't anything else interfere with it, so it's,
Yes.
that weekend is fine.
That weekend is fine.
That's fine with y'all, okay, good. All right,
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all
okay,
again.
thank y'all.
so much.
Thanks, Sean.
We'll do it. Okay, let's carry that. Okay, discussion of constructing a new Georgia State Patrol Post 22 facility. Okay, we have a map right here. Y'all have a map where the location, where they, excuse me, where we want to build a new state patrol post. And,
Everybody recognize that location?
everybody understand where it's at?
I know it's Rob Quarters, he there.
Yeah, quarters E, Fulford Road going into the industrial park.
And it'll actually be sitting catty corner, it won't be sitting square on Scapa. Or whatever that
They'll
road
be
is.
coming in and out off of Fulford.
Right.
With the driveway.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be sitting catty corner. I know me and the chairmen went out there, and several of us have been out there a couple of times, several commissioners. And we've had GSP here before, we've had leadership here from them before. You got two counties right now trying to get GSP, one of them's clearing 6 acres. And I personally do not want to see GSP leave Ware County. They don't want to leave Ware County. If you talk to them individually, we've had GSP here since the 60s. And the building that they're in right now is in terrible shape. And I have spoken with the sergeant, I spoke with a lieutenant, and they spoke with their higher ups. And once we start this process with the new GSP post, the building that they're actually in now, they will actually sign all that property over to us. Every bit of it.
Okay.
And I believe there's 6.5 acres there that they're just gonna let the county have once we get this, and they're gonna meet us. They're putting money in this too. It's not a 100% Ware County, and they know that.
I would like to think that they probably generate a pretty good bit of revenue
They do.
for this county
They do.
with them being here.
Mr. Chairman, and Timmy, I know, this been something that you've been talking about, you and I talked, we've been out there and looked at it, and I haven't been to the location where it is now. I mean, I hadn't heard anything else about it until we got this. But my question is still the same as it was back then, and I'm asking this for information purposes. Okay, what benefit is it for the county to have a GPS in their county? Now,
GSP.
all right, I'm just, and then Sammy mentioned about I guess he's, figured they bring a lot of revenue. Now, that was a question that was brought up at the last time when we came up about this, Georgia State Patrol office being here, as to how much actual revenue did the county get from that. And they threw a number out, or at least I remember you saying something to him about it, but then when the lady said that she was gonna get the information back, and as of this date, I don't think she's ever gotten it back. And like I said, I'm not anti-Georgia State Patrol being here, I'm just trying to find out what benefit will it be, especially when we got to put a lot of money into this, And that's all I'm trying to find out,
Well, the number that was given to me, they serve 6 counties. Post 22 serves 6 counties. All right? We were the second highest in revenue generated for Ware County. The only one that beat us out was Brantley County. And it was only I can't remember, Mr. County Manager, it was like $8,000 or $10,000 is all they had over us.
Okay.
And that's money generated for Ware County. Now, when a trooper writes a ticket to somebody, or he makes an arrest and writes a ticket, if he arrests them in the city, he can still take them to the county. And it all goes through state court, unless it's a felony, of course, goes through Superior Court. Now, however that money gets funneled back to us, I don't know how that's done. But even the post commander, when I sat with him last week, when me and the chairman was out there, he actually turned around and pulled it up on his computer screen, and he could show each county and how much he had generated from time A, January, to time B, January or February to December. He can go back 12, 15 years, probably longer than that. And the second benefit, I believe, would it be putting it out here in Industrial Park, then we would have access to their aeronautical equipment when we need it. I mean, you're talking about major industries right now on the cusp of coming into Ware County. And if you talk to Jason or you talk to somebody like that, then one of the first questions is do you have GSP in your county? What law enforcement represents your county? How are our stuff gonna be? I mean, I could go all day long. They've been here for over 60 years. Why would we want them to leave Ware County? And it's just like the post commander said the other day, say Pierce County gets them. Yeah, they're still gonna work Ware County. They'll still come to emergencies and those kind of things. But whenever they leave to go to lunch, and their post is in Ware County, and they're going down there to the A and B to eat, they're gonna spend their money in Pierce County, because that's where the post is. They're gonna spend the most of the time in Pierce County, because that's where the post is. So you're also gonna lose tax money there as well. And you're saying, well, it's not gonna be a lot of tax money. Well, you think about them and their families, and the family's going to meet them when it's their time. Or they see a crime being committed as they're headed to lunch. They're gonna go after that crime. And I would rather just keep that in Ware County.
Let me ask you something, how many officers is out there? How many people are employed out at the state patrol?
I know when they come up here that night, there was, I believe, 8 of them up here, and that wasn't all of them.
Probably about a dozen.
About 12, yeah.
About a dozen.
Okay, so,
Okay, that means if we had left here, then we would lose 12 employees that so-called got a job in Ware County.
Well,
I don't know if all of them even stay in Ware County now.
I know, but their
job's here.
job is here in Ware
Yeah.
County. So
My
we
biggest
lose
thing is
so many jobs.
increased law enforcement presence. I'm for it for getting the money, and I don't remember because I wasn't born, but my daddy was at this patrol post on Lee Avenue where the Al-Anon building is now. That was the original state patrol post.
Right.
So I go way back to state patrol with my family. And when we had it on sales tax, that didn't pass. If it had passed, it would be built now. But that's about the area that we had looked at putting it at that time, so I'm good with it. But where's the money coming from?
That's the $64,000 question. I mean,
$2 million question.
yeah.
Well, it's not 2. Well, the number that we spoke with them about was between 1 and 1.5 million is what Ware County would offer, plus the land. And then they have pockets that they can go into to get the remainder.
So we would have to come up with $1.5 million just for conversation's sake toward this GPS plus donate the land.
Mhm.
Okay, and so where are we gonna get that money from?
But we can go sit down with Ms. Beverly and find out exactly where, see which one's got because in the conversations I've had, we've got the money.
So you're thinking 1.1 or something like that?
Between 1 and 1.5. And then we're in turn getting a building with 6.5 acres.
They will build it.
Sir?
The state will build it.
They've got a construction crew.
Right. We
That
don't
they-
have to go get a contract and all that.
No, sir.
Okay.
And they get it all on state contract, and it's all, done their way. I spoke to them about inmate labor. I spoke to them about using the prisoners in Ware County to do it, and they said that the last time that happened, 6 inches of water stood in the building. That's why they use their own contractor now. The other good thing about putting the post here.
With the state building around here.
Right. And the other thing is, the post that we actually, the blueprints we had in the county manager's office shows 8 bedrooms. And Mr. Sergeant Brandon Smith even said they don't need 8 bedrooms. They recommended 2.
Have you got the plans for the Statesboro,
I
post?
think that's the one we got, ain't it? Scott Statesboro Post?
That's one I
I
asked him to
don't,
get.
no, I don't remember which one,
It was,
either that one or.
Colquitt or
We got
something,
two of them.
Colquitt,
Yeah,
Georgia.
Colquitt.
But that's 8 bedrooms, and he recommended, he said they don't need 8 bedrooms, they only need 2. Well, me and the chairman were talking, and we said, let's go ahead and put 4 in.
They told us out there the other day they needed 4.
Well, they told us in the meeting last week that they needed 2, and me and the chairman had talked about 4. Because the industries that we have coming here, when we have cadets come here to work, that's where they have to stay.
I personally would like to follow up and y'all bring back a, proposal with the correct amount on it and us go from there. The concept is fine with me, I'm for it. And money, we can find the money.
All right, well, what we need to do, and this is what we talked to Scott about, what the colonel needs first is a letter of intent of Ware County saying, you know, once we get the final number done,
Right.
they need a letter of intent knowing that Ware County's gonna be able to move forward with this.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Well,
Can we pay for this building through general fund?
We would have to, that's what I'm doing, is racking my brain right now to find out how we possibly could do it. The only way we probably would be able to make it work was through general fund in some form or fashion. It's possible that you could use, unrestricted reserves to do that. The commission would have to vote on that to do it, right offhand. That's just one way. The other way would be to see how to fit it into the budget.
Scott, can we get a low interest loan?
That I'd have, you probably could by, participating, banks locally, that I would have to check into to find out what sort of interest rates are out there. With the rates where they are now, I don't know if you would refer to them as low interest, but, see what we can find.
Well, we know if we don't act, that the state patrol's gonna leave. This post is gonna leave Ware County.
Yeah.
I mean, we already see that handwriting on the wall.
We'll figure out a way. That's just my mentality. If the commission wants it, we'll figure out how to make it happen.
Well, I think we need to go ahead and give them a commitment
Yeah.
that we'll build a building.
Let's see where the money's coming first.
well, yeah,
Well, I'm telling you, Pierce County is clearing land right now.
well,
And if we wait 2 more weeks, when we come back, Pierce County's gonna have a letter of intent.
well,
And we need to go ahead and get our letter of intent put in.
If you'll get a good solid number so we know what we're talking about, so they can put a.
Our solid
didn't hold
number,
them.
our max amount, and that's what me and Sergeant Smith talked about, is 1.5 million.
Can you use that as a working number and come up with right quick, I mean, whenever you get it,
this,
see where it's coming
I don't
from.
know.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm just gonna look to see about finance.
And I don't want, and I won't be part of saying we're gonna build a state patrol post and then have to raise property taxes. I mean, for the general fund. I mean, we need to have some idea of where the money's coming from. I think everybody's ready to go, but where's the money
Yeah.
coming from? Should take a few days to do that.
That's correct, yeah.
I wanna say this right here. Okay, we're talking about Georgia State Patrol, and if we don't act, you know, I don't like it when it's kinda like you're being high pressure. you know?
It's not,
Well,
And-
in
and-
the
hold-
universe,
hold
it's not high pressure.
Okay, but another thing it is, now, all these conversations been about the state patrol and visiting the site and all that, there, I haven't been privy into that. But now, you're asking this commission to have a letter of commitment to
Yeah.
build this GPS, and I don't even know where it's at out there. I haven't been privy to it, and I just wanna say that for the record. Now, for the Georgia State Patrol and them being in Waycross or Ware County, I don't have any problem with that. I wanna know, first of all, how much it's gonna cost us, and then what the benefit for having Georgia State Patrol here. But now, if it's just and like I say, I'm not saying this trying to be facetious, but if it's just to say and have bragging rights, say, well, we got the state patrol here, that's one thing. But now, if we generating revenue from it, like I say, the presence and industries are contingent, whether they come in or not on law enforcement, how much level of law enforcement have it, that's another thing. So I'm just saying, that should be all inclusive about the whole process. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there hasn't been nothing hid because they have sent emails out to everybody. They sent them to me, they sent them to the county manager.
About the Georgia State Patrol?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know we talked about it, what, a year ago, But now, when I got anything about the Georgia State Patrol, when I picked up my packet, other day, that's when I saw something about Georgia State Patrol relocating. I said, well, okay, well, I know this came up several months ago, you know, almost a year ago, but now it's back up again. And I just think, hey, we need to first find out again, I'm repeating myself, how much is it gonna cost the county? Do we have the money?
It's not gonna cost the county more than 1.5.
Okay,
That's our max amount.
okay, so the next thing will be, where we gonna get that money from?
That's why we got a county manager. And he said that they can make it work.
Scott's gonna tell us shortly.
And I will, I'll spend the rest of the week, we'll strategize on how we can make that happen.
Okay.
All right. Any more on it?
I say let's
Anybody
move it
else
over,
got
move it
anything?
over to vote.
What, and Tim, I'm not trying to be, you know, hard about this here, but before I vote on anything like that, I would at least like to know where we're gonna get the money from, how we're gonna get the money, what it's gonna cost. Cause I'm, like I say, like Jerry said, I'm not for raising people's property tax just to put the Georgia State Patrol. You know, they out there now, like I said, maybe the building is antiquated, you know, I don't know. We've been out there and looked at that building, I was privy to that, but I haven't been privy to this right here.
Okay, Scott can put a package together, we'll have a call meeting and address it pretty quick.
Any more?
Or we could obligate up to 1.5 million. Contingent upon getting the money or something to be done.
That's why I say let's take it over for a vote. Go ahead and get the letter of intent.
All right, let's carry it over.
Mr. Chairman, one last thing. Now, all right, now we're talking about this $1.5 million or whatever for the state patrol. But then we got a department head come there and said that this piece of equipment could really help and alleviate a lot of the problem we having in the county. You know, but we want to build a Georgia State Patrol. We don't want to try to do something about these people that's flooding out and all this kind of stuff. And that equipment maybe could help that. So I'm just saying,
And that's the
we need
conversation I
to
just
get our
had.
priorities aligned in the right direction.
And that's the reason I had the conversation I had with a city employee about co-oping with their equipment and paying rent for their equipment, or either fixing their equipment, instead of spending $500,000 for a piece of equipment. When they've got, how many of y'all got Mark II?
One,
Just one?
it's blowed up right now.
And it's blowed up right now? So we're gonna spend $500,000 for something that's gonna be blown up in 3 years, or we're gonna spend 1.5 million for something that's gonna be here for the next 60?
I will say, if the county does have a water truck, you can ramp that water truck up and jet them pipes out, too. If we already have a water truck,
Yeah,
fire truck, whatever, we can blow it out of there.
okay. Anything else on the patrol office, state patrol post? Not, let's carry it over. All right, let's go to, discussion of merging animal shelter operations with the city of Ware. Now, James, you gonna come up and tell us about this?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this is a request to discuss the possibility of merging the two shelters. Currently, the county runs a shelter out in Industrial Park, and the city runs a shelter on Blackwell Street. Mark and I have met, we've kind of run some numbers. We think that by merging these two shelters into one, that we can save the taxpayers, both the city and the county, some money, because all you're doing there is duplicating services. Proposal will be that the shelter will be a county-run facility. The county would fund half, and the city would fund half of the budget annually. It would, you basically would take, where you're trying to operate with two facilities, you'd operate with one. We would keep the county facility as a isolation type facility, where if you got an animal that was sick, that they can go out there, or if you have, and we have at times, we have court animals cases that are involved in court animals, or court case, or animals that are involved in court cases. We keep those out there, and people just go out and check on those. You know, Mark has spoke with the city. I think the city is in agreement with trying to look at this. It won't be like the last time that failed. The last time it was ran by the Humane Society. This time it will not be ran by an independent board. It will be ran by the county. You know, the county would dictate the procedures, policies and procedures on how it's going. Mark and I has talked, and basically the best that we can figure would be that we'd have to write an MOU or an agreement that basically guaranteed each entity half the available pens that was available for that day. For example, if you had 10 pens free, then the city would get 5 and the county would get 5 of those pens. And it has to go on a day-by-day basis, because you can't guarantee that you can give each entity 20 pens a day. You just can't do that. Unfortunately, there's more animals out there than there are people adopting animals. We are using all the rescues that we can. I think the city's doing the same. We are actually using Camden County Humane Society. They're pulling some dogs from us from time to time. But we're stuck with a lot of animals, or we have a lot of animals. And I think the city's running that same issue, but we think that we could save the county and the city about $50,000 each by running the joint system. Because you're really gonna come back with the same amount of employees, just about. You'll have a couple more, but then when you fund it half and half, then you know it cuts down the cost from each entity, so to speak. Right now, I think the county's budget is somewhere around 289, maybe 259, 289 for animals, and I think the city is right around 3. So yeah, we're just looking at ways to maybe to consolidate some services. Some services are the same. Is what you're supposed to be doing as a county and city anyway with the state requirements. So, and that's kind of where we're at.
So this would be only for the, I'll call it a pound, and not the control people that go around and pick up dogs and cats. That would be continue to be separate.
The city will the city will employ their own animal control officers, and then the county will employ their own animal control officers. What I'm thinking, just out loud, and you know, is that Scott and I is going to meet, talk about it some more, but that the animal control officers in the county will stay within my department, so to speak.
Right.
And then the animal controls in the city will be in Mark's department. And then we'll have, the shelter will be its own department with a manager, not a director, but a manager to run those facilities out there. Because they need to be, there's decisions that has to be made on a daily basis that needs to have a manager out there.
So,
Go ahead.
let me just, so at the city, the manager, at the pound, I guess, out there, the facility, would that be a city employee, a county employee?
County employee. Everybody at the shelter that works for the shelter will be a county employee. The only two, or the only ones that won't be county, or won't be county employees is the 2 city animal control officers.
Okay, and right now, out there on Blackwell Mall, who's running that now? I mean, what employees of that city?
So I'm the director, and then I have a manager that's out there, and she's she's the manager, and she's also the animal control officer for the city.
Okay, so it's just
We
one
keep her-
one individual out there,
One
right?
individual, and then we've got 4 shelter attendants that are responsible for cleaning and, helping maintain the facility.
That's city employees,
They're city employees.
but now they'll be county employees.
They've had the option to be county employees, yes, sir.
Now it's all gonna be controlled by the county.
Right.
Is it just under one facility?
So,
And it'd just be one
One
facility?
One facility.
Will there be any county employee, any city employees that have to be hired by the county? Have you already got staff to just move over and just have the city control officers?
We've got staff, but we'll have to hire the city personnel as well. I mean,
You'll have to hire some of the city
Some
people
city
to
people,
bring with the county.
Which I think it's also been discussed, the city would give them the option if they want to transfer and stay in the city.
Somewhere
We got
else,
one
or
that's been with the
county.
city for many years.
Right.
He's close to retiring, so they might transfer him to another department, so obviously we'd give that option to that city employee.
So, and Mark, I know back when, I guess the Humane Societies, what's the difference in that setup versus what we have right now?
So Humane Society was a 501c3 nonprofit. They pretty much ran everything. They ran shelter. They also ran animal control for what they did. And it was, from my understanding, both city and county helped fund some of that. And then they were also able to get outside, being a 501c3, they were able to get funding from other sources as well. But it was the way it was set up, the city and county got so many kennels per day, and it was not set up properly. And the way we've looked at it, we think it would run better.
So y'all think y'all can make it run better?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's the only fair way, and it's like most other places that have consolidated their services. So like James said, if you've got 10 pens open a day, city gets 5, county gets 5, the city brings in their 5, then we're cut off for that day. And that number can fluctuate day to day, depending on the numbers.
I think we're gonna look at, the city of Tifton.
The city of Tifton has done it.
Tifton has a merged facility, so, Tifton and Tift County, so we're gonna look kind of what their policies and procedures and their agreements are. And try to kind of come up with a draft proposal, then we'll get council to look over that and walk us through the process.
Well, the Public Safety Training Center is owned by the county and operated by the county, but we have, Jennifer had an agreement with the city that they pay half the cost, or 40% of all the cost. So if you get a good agreement, the one y'all referring to previously was a disaster for the county.
Yeah, it won't be like that.
Get the right agreement, I think it would work,
Yeah.
really.
I think so.
So let me ask this question, Scott. Now, at one time, and I think it was in our lost agreement or something, wasn't it something about the animal control? How will that impact that, or will it impact that, or are we still under that, or what?
From the old SDS, the service delivery strategy, we're still under that same arrangement that the city controls is in charge of animal control inside the city limits, and we're responsible for animal control outside the city limits for the unincorporated area.
Okay.
I think he was also referring maybe to the old laws that we have where the county was given 140, that ended
Yeah.
under the new laws.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I know it was something in there because that was like a 10-year
Yeah,
thing.
that came out
Right.
2 years ago, I think.
Right, so we're not under that right now?
No.
Okay, no, okay.
We may have to do a amendment to the SDS, the service delivery strategy, because I don't know if it was amended where, the two shelters were broken back apart. But if we do that, that's not a big, let's just submit something to RC.
Madam Attorney, we don't have any legalese problem with this,
Well, we'll study on it as it goes. Obviously, I live in Tift County, so I'm very familiar with, how that's run, and I think it is working.
Okay.
And there's certainly many communities that it works in, and so we'll just want to make sure the paperwork's set up right, everybody's set up for success,
Right.
if that's in fact how the commission desires to proceed.
So what we're wanting is direction from the county commission for us to proceed or what, so.
Mr. Chairman, if I can, don't mean to bring up a sore subject here, but I believe when the whole library issue started, the deal was that the county take the library, the city take the animal shelter. So if we're gonna co-op this thing 50-50, can the city, I know you can't speak for the city manager, but can the city divvy up some of that money to the library to alleviate some of our headache a little bit?
I'm not sure where that stood or how that came about.
But that, I
I
mean,
can't speak on that.
am I right or wrong about that, Mr. County Manager? Wasn't there an agreement there?
I
I've
think,
never heard of that.
well, I think what you're referring to is going back to a local option sales tax
Right.
agreement. It was way more than just animals. It involved the sheriff, it involved the jail, it involved.
Recreation.
Recreation, library, it involved a lot of different, aspects of the government, so.
Well, that's the reason I'm asking if the city can, and I'll ask the city manager when he gets here.
And if I remember
Because-
correctly, it was all done for the county to get an extra 2% on the lost agreement. So the county would get 52 and the city would get 48. Is that right?
That's what the old one.
Right.
That was before this most recent one.
Yeah.
Right, that was before the most recent one.
Yeah. And that's why the county funds the library and the city doesn't, is because it was negotiated with what we get out of the sales tax to do that.
Right.
But now under this new MOU, we're gonna be going 50-50 with the city.
Right.
So
But it
they'll be
only
saving
pertain,
them.
that would only pertain to animal shelter
control.
operations.
Yeah.
Sure, if we got to the library, they wanna renegotiate some of the other laws aspects,
Yeah, I don't think that's,
because they gave some for that, to get that. So if you start getting into all that, I'm sure the city would
Yeah,
want to
that's-
negotiate some of that
yeah,
other.
you- yeah, you're getting into the minutia of it then, because right now, like I say, the library, and we got more of the sales tax in order to offset our costs,
Right.
you know. But this right here is just a 50-50, pretty much,
But it's saving money because you're cutting down on duplicating costs.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what y'all need.
Just a direction from the commission and tell us to kind of move forward, we'll get a budget together and we'll start working on, MOUs and so forth.
Come back with some hard facts on how it's gonna work out.
We'll carry it over and vote on it.
Okay.
Accept it or not. Okay. All right. We got an appointment request for the Unison Board of Directors.
Where they at?
About here, what do you?
Let's see which one is that.
None of those the people.
Send it in a letter.
The Henderson,
Tiffany Henderson.
want to reappoint Dr. Faye
Oh, yeah.
Mathis.
Nice, Mayor, do you know her?
Who's Dr. Mathis? Yes. Mhm. Yeah, she's wanting to be reappointed back
Yes,
on
she
there.
wanted to be reappointed to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's already on there and she likes to be, she would want to be
Are they
reappointed.
here?
No, sir, she's not.
Will they do it? I mean, are they okay with it?
Yeah, she's agreed that she would continue to serve.
Yep.
Okay.
And Unison has, right here in the letter, saying that they'd be very pleased for, to.
Okay. She says she'll do it. Okay.
I think that's,
Any more discussion on it?
No, sir.
If not, okay, now, we had a tax thing that was, but it ain't on the agenda. We're not gonna appoint the new, didn't one of them leave?
We would need to have
Board
a
of Assessors.
called meeting to do that. And I was gonna refer to Jennifer that we would need to call a called meeting for it, because it's more like a public hearing, am I not
What
correct?
is it?
The Board of Elections board member, is that what you're
Yeah, they
referring
was,
to?
I know
Yeah.
one of them had, resigned or something.
So, to update the commission, it's my understanding that the Board of Elections and Registration for Ware County took a vote of no confidence in one of its members, but you are the appointing authority. And so you all, under the Board of Elections enabling legislation, would have to actually have a hearing and hear evidence to determine if appropriate to remove that member, basically 4 calls. So you all get to determine if you believe it's necessary to schedule the hearing, and then you hear the evidence at the hearing and determine if it's appropriate to remove that member. So Mr. Moy's correct. We certainly will not be doing that tonight. If that is scheduled, we'll give notice to all involved parties. They'll have the opportunity to come and present evidence. That'll be scheduled on another day.
It was a Board of Assessors, wasn't it? Miss Kathy, she resigned?
He must be
No,
talking about
that's,
something
yeah,
else.
that's the Board of Assessors, Mr. Billy Carter, I think he was in here, I believe.
He
Maybe he's
was,
gone.
he got up and walked
But,
out.
She's
She's
there's
supposed
on the
to
next
be
yeah,
up.
that's gonna be on the next agenda, because they were gonna speak to that, because you've got, I think 4 or 5 folks who are interested in
Right.
being
Oh,
appointed.
okay.
That's why.
So that ain't, all
Yes.
right.
So, Madam
Okay.
Attorney, make sure I'm understanding.
You
you're
hit us.
saying
Okay, go ahead.
the board member on the election board, the election board have voted to ask for removal of this board member for what, no confidential thing?
That's correct.
But we still, they still have to bring it to us.
That's correct. Because
Okay.
you are the appointing authority.
Okay. So that'll have to be brought up. All right. Any county manager report?
That was it. That was the called meeting or the public hearing that has to be held. We would have to notice that, so if we could, if it's possible that we could do it next week, I would imagine, if we get the notices out to everyone sometime next week.
All right.
So let me ask this question right here. Okay, this election board voting to actually member to, voting for no confidence. So would that member have an opportunity to just resign if they wanted to,
Yes.
instead of having to go through all this since the election board have already voted that they want to remove that person? Okay.
Okay. Nothing else, manager?
No, sir, that was it.
Okay, commission comment. Y'all got anything?
I don't.
I don't have anything.
Okay, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved,
So
Chair.
move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
I hear a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a
Okay,
public
come back
hearing.
about 20
We have a
minutes.
Public hearing
Got a
after
public hearing
this.
now.
We got a hearing
Yes,
right
sir.
now.
They're really associated with each other, so that.
It ain't on
and then a
here.
regular meeting
Yeah,
after.
public hearing. Yeah,
Public hearing, okay, right here. Okay, let's have.
What time?
Now, or-
5:30 or now?
4:30.
It was supposed to be at 5:30, so essentially, if you all would like to take a quick break and do the public hearing, I mean, at 4:30, right, that's what I said, so.
Let's take about 10 minutes and come back. Come back to this public.